The sound came first, not loud, not shocking, just wrong enough to stop Emily Carter in her tracks. It was a quiet Sunday afternoon in a suburb outside Seattle, the kind of day Americans called peaceful without thinking. Rain pressed softly against the windows. The house felt empty. Even though it wasn't, Emily had lived there long enough to know the difference between calm and silence that carried weight. This silence felt heavy. She stood at the bottom of the stairs, grocery bag still in her hands, listening. From upstairs came a low, broken sound. Not music. Not laughter. A voice died, angry, tired, talking to itself. Emily's heart tightened. She didn't rush. She didn't panic. She simply set the bags down and walked upstairs. Each step careful, each breath slower than the last. At the end of the hall, Daniel's door was half open. Daniel was her stepson, 22, an adult by law but still young in the ways that mattered. He had moved back home 3 months earlier after leaving college. No big fight. No dramatic goodbye. Just a quiet return with a single suitcase and a look in his eyes that said he felt like he had failed. Emily had promised herself she would respect space. Boundaries mattered. In American families, especially blended ones, lines could blur fast. She knew that. But something told her not to turn away. She knocked once, lightly. No answer. She pushed the door open. Daniel sat on the edge of his bed, leaning forward, elbows on his knees. His phone rested in his hands, screen glowing. His jaw was tight. His shoulders shook as he dragged a hand through his hair again and again. Like he was trying to pull himself out of his own thoughts. Emily stopped just inside the doorway. She didn't see anything inappropriate. No secrets. No shameful acts. What she saw was worse. She saw a young man unraveling. Daniel stared at his phone like it was judging him. Messages half-written, emails unopened, job alerts rejected. Every swipe felt like another reminder of what he hadn't become. Emily cleared her throat softly. Daniel jumped, eyes wide. For a split second, fear crossed his face. Then, embarrassment. Then anger at himself. "I didn't hear you," he said quickly, locking the phone. "I'm sorry," Emily said. "I wasn't trying to snoop." Silence stretched between them. Emily had married Daniel's father, Mark, 6 years earlier. Mark traveled often for work. Emily worked from home as a content editor. They had learned how to live around each other without forcing closeness. Emily never tried to replace Daniel's mother. She never crossed that line. But this moment wasn't about roles. It was about a person in pain. "You okay?" Emily asked. Daniel let out a short laugh. "Yeah, totally." The lie hung in the air. Emily didn't call him out. She didn't push. She simply nodded and turned slightly, giving him room to speak if he wanted. After a few seconds, Daniel's shoulders dropped. "I'm messing everything up," he said quietly. Emily stepped inside and sat on the chair near the desk. Not too close. Not too far. "Tell me how," she said. Daniel hesitated, then shook his head. "It's stupid. Most things that hurt don't sound smart when we say them out loud," Emily replied. That made him look at her. "I left school," he said. "Everyone else moved on. My friends, my cousins, they're all doing things. I'm just stuck." Emily listened. That was her strength. Not advice. Not fixing. Listening. Daniel's words came faster now. "I apply for jobs, but I don't follow through. I tell myself I'll start tomorrow. Then tomorrow comes and I do nothing. I hate myself for it." Emily felt a sting in her chest. Not pity, recognition. "You're not lazy," she said. "You're scared." Daniel's eyes filled. He looked away. "Don't say that," he muttered. "You don't know me like that." "I know fear," Emily said. "It makes smart people freeze." The rain outside grew louder, like it agreed. Daniel stared at the floor. "I feel like I'm playing games with my own life. Like I don't take it seriously. Like I'm watching myself fail and not stopping it." That was the moment Emily understood the truth behind what she had walked in on. This wasn't about secrets or shame. It was about a young man slowly letting go of himself. "You don't need to punish yourself to grow," she said. Daniel laughed bitterly. "Feels like I deserve it." Emily leaned forward slightly, resting her hands on her knees. "No one deserves to feel useless." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Daniel asked, "Why do you care?" It wasn't rude. It was honest. Emily chose her words carefully. "Because you live here. Because you're family. And because I see someone who needs help, not judgment." Daniel swallowed. His voice dropped. "My dad thinks I'll figure it out. He believes in you," Emily said. "Or he doesn't want to deal with me." Emily didn't argue. Instead, she said, "What do you want?" Daniel thought about it. Really thought. "I want to feel proud again." Emily nodded. "That's a good place to start." She stood up slowly. "I'm not here to control your life. But if you want support trio, Supporti can help. With resumes. With planning. With someone checking in." Daniel looked surprised. "Why you?" Emily smiled softly. "Because I'm here." The simplicity of it hit him. "Okay," he said. "I don't promise I'll be good at it." "You don't have to be," Emily replied. "You just have to show up." That night, Emily lay awake in her room long after the house went quiet. Mark was away on another business trip. The ceiling fan hummed above her. She replayed the conversation again and again. She knew the risks. Emotional closeness could create confusion. Gratitude could feel like something else if boundaries slipped. Emily was careful by nature, but she was also human. She promised herself one thing: help, not attachment. Support, not dependence. Down the hall, Daniel sat on his bed, staring at the ceiling too. For the first time in months, his chest felt lighter. Someone had seen him without laughing or fixing or leaving. Someone had stayed. The next morning, Emily left a cup of coffee on the counter with a note beside it. "Small steps still move forward." Daniel stared at the note longer than he needed to. He folded it and slipped it into his pocket. Neither of them knew it yet, but that quiet moment, the knock, the pause, the choice to listen had changed everything. And the hardest part was still ahead. The first time Daniel smiled in weeks, Emily almost didn't recognize him. It happened on a Monday morning. The kind of Monday that drags in Seattle, with gray clouds pressing down and drizzle tapping the windows. Emily had left her usual cup of coffee on the counter with a small note. "You don't have to fix it all today. Just start." She had expected him to glance at it, maybe ignore it like he had the others. But he hadn't. He had smiled. A real smile, tight at first, but genuine. Emily felt something in her chest shift, not romance, not desire. Just a quiet pride she hadn't allowed herself to feel in a long time. She reminded herself, boundaries first. Support second. That was the rule she had promised herself. Daniel was sitting at the small kitchen table, laptop open, pen in hand, scribbling notes onto a pad. For weeks he had barely moved from his room, letting time slip past like water through fingers. Now he was actively planning. A job application here, a follow-up email there. The transformation was subtle, but noticeable. Emily poured herself a coffee and leaned against the counter. "Looks like someone finally decided to show up for themselves," she said, trying to keep her tone light. Daniel didn't look up. "I had to," he said softly. "If I don't start now, I'll keep wasting time." Emily nodded. "Good, baby steps." Over the next few days, Emily found herself becoming the anchor he needed, but in the healthiest way possible. She helped him organize his days, reminded him of deadlines, practiced interview questions. She didn't hover, didn't nag. She created structure without smothering, guidance without judgment. Each interaction built trust, confidence, and a sense of stability for Daniel he hadn't felt in months. One afternoon, Emily found him in the living room, stretching before a run. His face was flushed from exertion, and for a moment she thought he looked almost happy. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Alive," he said with a grin. "Kinda weird, right?" "But good." Emily smiled. It was strange seeing someone she had once thought of as broken start reclaiming himself. But she also noticed something else, an unspoken connection that ran deeper than casual friendliness. It wasn't romantic in action, but there was tension, a closeness forged in shared vulnerability and trust. She felt it too, but she reminded herself her role was helper, guide, and stepmother, not something more. The next challenge came in the form of his first serious interview. Daniel had secured a small office job in Portland, an entry-level position that he feared he might fail. Emily spent the evening before going over potential questions with him, coaching him on posture, tone, and confidence. She didn't correct him harshly, didn't lecture. She offered encouragement and guidance. "You've got this," she said. "You just need to show them the Daniel I see every day." He laughed nervously. "I hope they see me half as well as you do." "That's all anyone can ask for," she said. The morning of the interview arrived gray and chilly. Emily made breakfast and left a note on the counter. "Go get them, Daniel. You've got everything it takes." She watched him leave, car loaded with determination and nerves. When he pulled out of the driveway, she felt a strange mix of pride and relief. In the days that followed, Daniel began to emerge fully from his shell. He took morning runs, started cooking simple meals, even invited friends over. Emily kept her role consistent, a presence in the background, offering support but never stepping over boundaries. She had learned that the most powerful help sometimes comes in silence and subtle guidance rather than action. One evening, as they cleaned the kitchen together, Daniel paused and looked at her. "I never thought I'd say this, but thank you for everything." Emily smiled softly. "You don't have to thank me. You're doing the work. I'm just here to make sure you don't give up." He hesitated. "Still, I feel like I owe you something." "You owe me nothing," she said gently. "Just promise me you'll keep moving forward." 'Twas a quiet promise, one that bound them in trust and mutual respect. That night, Emily lay in bed thinking about how delicate this balance had been. She had to remain steady, firm, and kind, always aware of the boundaries between adult support and emotional entanglement. Weeks later, Daniel received the official offer letter for the Portland job. He called Emily first, voice shaking with excitement and relief. "I got it. I actually got it." Emily cheered softly, her heart swelling with pride. "I knew you could. I'm so proud of you." The following weekend, Daniel packed his car for the move. Emily helped him lift boxes, gave advice on budgeting, and reminded him to call regularly. Each piece of advice, each small gesture, reinforced his independence while keeping the support safe and appropriate. Before he drove away, Daniel turned back to her, his eyes full of emotion. "You helped me when I couldn't help myself," he said. "I don't know what I'd have done without you." Emily swallowed hard, keeping her emotions in check. "That's exactly why I had to be careful," she said. "You needed guidance, not dependency. You needed your own strength, not mine." Daniel nodded, understanding more than she had expected. "I'll never forget this. You've changed my life." And in that moment, Emily realized that the greatest form of help wasn't about stepping in or taking over. It was about being present, consistent, and compassionate while giving someone the space to reclaim their own life. That was the true gift. As Daniel drove off into the misty Portland morning, Emily watched him go, feeling a mix of sadness and satisfaction. He was ready for the world now, and she had played her part without crossing lines, without compromising her principles. She had helped, but she had also preserved the dignity, independence, and emotional safety that mattered most. Back in the quiet house, Emily placed her hand on the counter where Daniel's coffee cup had sat. She smiled, not with longing, not with desire, but with the calm understanding that some bonds, delicate, emotional, transformative, don't need romance or drama to be meaningful. They need patience, empathy, and respect. The house felt quiet again, but not empty. The echoes of growth, trust, and connection lingered in the walls. Emily knew that this was the kind of story people remembered not for scandal, not for excitement, but for the emotional truth of helping someone rise when they had lost their way. And sometimes that kind of help changed lives forever. It was a story of restraint, trust, and the quiet power of support, a story that left both of them stronger, ready for the future, and aware that real help doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, The end of one chapter, the beginning of many more.